You have scored 78 on an exam where the class average is 72. Which standard deviation would give you the highest position in the class's distribution of scores? Is it going to be a small standard deviation like 1, slightly larger at 2, as large as 5, or D, there's not enough information to determine this? Well, let's start off by identifying or drawing 72. So this is the average, and so you can think about this as being the typical or the central score in the class. Now, fortunately, you're ahead of that, so you're up here at 78. But are you really far ahead, or are you just sort of slightly above the average? Well, this really depends on your choice of standard deviation. Now, keep in mind, most scores are within 70% of scores are within one standard deviation of the mean. 95% of scores are within 2 standard deviations of the mean. So if I was dealing with a standard deviation of 1, that would mean that most scores are somewhere between 71 and 73, so within 1 point of 72. The majority of scores are within 95% are within 2 standard deviations of the mean. So think about it like that. If I had a standard deviation of 1, then 95% of my scores are going to be at 1, 2 above. So this is at 73 and 2 below. This is 70 equal. So 95% of scores are sitting within this range. You are easily well above the rest of the group. You are above 95% of the scores. If, on the other hand, we said it was the other extreme, if we said it was 5, that means that 95% of scores are within 2 of these away from 72. So what are 2 5s above 72? That goes all the way up to 82 and all the way down to 62. So that basically means that the majority or almost all of the distribution sits within this range. You are well within that range. Suddenly your score doesn't stand out as much. So a small standard deviation means that your score stands out dramatically. If you are above the class average, you are dramatically above the class average when you have a small standard deviation. If you were below the class average, you would be dramatically below or significantly below. So with a standard deviation of 1, a score like 78 is significantly higher than the central tendency or the mean of 72. So the answer here is A.